Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Danny Kalala, and I have hacked Melissa's page. I'm on there.
Yes, it's true. You just hacked it, and we're ready to go.
So we are live for take number 2. We did a live last week, was it?
A couple weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And today we're super excited to bring another topic to you about what you saw in the title, which is experiential therapy. I am not the pro, but I have the pro right here, which is awesome. And we had just a lot of conversations. We've been diving deep into what, I challenge you to say, what you're really good at, what you enjoy. And that was something you said, right?
Yes, is one of my favorite things to do with people both inside the office and outside the office, really.
Yeah, because what we discussed is when you get outside of your environment, when you get outside and do things together, it changes a lot of the dynamics in the relationship, right? Because we're going to specifically talk about couples today, but if experiential therapy is a gray area for you, we're going to kind of break that down. So let's start there. Why don't you explain to the audience from your clinical brain, because I don't have one of those, what experiential therapy is?
So my definition, which is based off of what's out there clinically, is just the idea of having an experience. It could be in the office, or a lot of times I take people outside the office. That's creative, it's unique, and it's not just talking. So a good example could be one of my favorite activities, which you can do at home, is to really think about what your vision is for your relationship. Not, hey, we got together, we wanted to buy a house, we wanted a committed partnership, but really why you exist in the first place. So I often send couples home, or romantic partners home, with Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and have them think about those concepts in terms of their relationship. And then I have them go outside and take a piece of paper, and they find a scene in nature that represents that vision for their relationship. Mm-hmm. And then we talk about that as a team. We come together, and each person has their own drawing, and they co-create a vision that incorporates the elements of both drawings. And it's really getting them on the same page of what are we striving for? What are we really about? That's just one example of what experiential therapy is. If we were just to talk about that, it would lack the same luster and depth that we can get to by going outside, by doing something creative, by working as a team. It just pulls out these different elements you never would have through just talking.
Totally, and that's great, because what you need to understand is that when you say sitting in a room just talking, you're not really exercising real life skills, right? When I hear you talking, we had some conversations about trust and stuff and what somebody else is see. A lot of times in relationships, you might not understand what the other partner is really about or seeing. And you do some other cool exercises with Legos and stuff where people build things and try to explain it to somebody else. And I'm sure sometimes that goes well.
Yes.
And sometimes it goes horrifically wrong. And what it helps people understand is, okay, maybe there's something lost between here and there, right?
Yes. Concepts like communication and trust, people can sometimes vaguely say, we're not feeling great in that, but to get down and see the specifics of where there's a break in communication, or where there's areas where there's not as much trust, that is really challenging to do verbally, which is why experiential is so great. We might do a Lego exercise. I might take you outside and we do a blindfold trust walk, or I've done obstacle courses, or we've built forts, or all kinds of very playful things, which is intentional. I'm trying to get you out of the prefrontal cortex. I'm trying to get my couples out of the prefrontal cortex, which really focuses on being right, and right has no place in relationships. Being right is a mute point. That's not going to improve your relationship. It's getting to understand where the other person's coming from, the real emotions about those things, the real thoughts and abstract concepts, and all of that is what I'm interested in. And so these activities help couples bypass the prefrontal cortex and get into the more playful parts of their brain, of who they are, and it's way more fun.
Yeah, and a good way, when you started to say playful, we were chatting about this earlier, when you think about experiential therapy and what it means, we use the analogy of being an adult, okay? Being an adult standing up and seeing a child on the floor. as an adult standing up, you can't be fun and playful. But as soon as you go down and you kneel on the floor and you start playing with some Legos with a child, it's okay to be goofy and fun and be childlike, right?
Yes.
And that's a good layway for people to understand. If this audience who gets this video, because we encourage you to share this, because we're trying to sort of break down what experiential therapy is and have people understand it. But for any of the lay audience that might not understand, that's a good way to recognize when you're breaking into new parts of exploring who you are as a personality and really putting on a different hat. When you kneel down to play with that child, that's fun. That's an activity. We can be wacky. We can say weird things, right?
Yes.
That, and in essence, is experiential therapy, because you're breaking into that different side of the brain, right?
Yes. The more creative, playful, imaginative side of the brain. More vibrancy comes out in your language. Like, it just changes your overall demeanor and your partner's overall demeanor, and it has the ability to just really bring out that connection between you. It's awesome.
It is awesome. And so we're specifically trying to talk with couples. So that's what Melissa specializes in, is working with couples and relationships, because experiential therapy can go across the whole gamut of things. There's equine therapy, there's a whole thing. But today we're specifically talking about what Melissa does. So if you're a couple in a relationship that's kind of struggling and you've ever wanted to just try to start something at home, right?
Yes.
Because I challenged Melissa. I said, give people some stuff that they can start doing today that will improve their relationship. And you said that was just as simple as maybe going out for a walk.
Going out for a walk. And if you're really feeling bold, what I was thinking is, it's really so awesome to tap into that childlike disposition that we all possess. And I'm not saying childish, that's a whole different story. But being really childlike and having wonder and excitement and novelty. And so I was even thinking, as a couple, you could do flashlight hide and seek. Like, you could get more playful with it. You could, I know couples that board game night has been something that really brings them together. They may put their kids to bed and they try out, there are really cool board games out there these days. So they try out different board games. I know couples that are like, really into things that are similar to like Dungeons and Dragons, so they play versions of that. I know couples who are really into mountain biking, so that's where they are playful. It's really whatever feels good to you guys as a couple, but really adding that in on a weekly basis. Not even, some people are like, well, we try once a month. Well, this is so critical to the health of your relationship, which ultimately impacts your overall health.
You need to be doing it.
You need to be doing it.
And let's be clear, you didn't stumble on this just because you decided you wanted to do it. You sort of started with this early in your own relationship, right? You did this in your own thing.
Yes.
And why don't you explain a little about how you stumbled upon this, because you didn't necessarily stumble, you sort of implemented it and thought, wow, this works.
Yes.
Right? And that's the best kind of experience, being like,
definitely.
Epiphany, I had it, like I did it. Oh my gosh, I've been doing that for 4 months. Maybe I should teach others.
Yes, this has been a part of my life long before I started using it in therapy. I met my partner rafting the Colorado River. We actually both were ejected out of a rapid called Sakatumi, actually, and he saved my life, which he's very stoked about, and
paid off for him.
It's paid off for him, and ever since then, our relationship has been very much about adventure. We live in this beautiful state. We're both very active people. We've mountain biked, skied, kite boarded, wakeboarded, snowmobiled. I don't even know. Lots of things. Lots of fun and adventure, and it's a regular part of our relationship, and we don't just do that. Like, we like escape rooms, we like other kinds of challenges, and that's just a part of like daily, weekly practice for us, and it's a way we connect and see each other in a different light. And Esther Perel, who's really been an expert in the field around affair recovery, but also how to like kind of enhance your relationship. One of the things she talks about is maintaining passion in a long-term relationship, and elements that we need in our relationships are novelty, mystery, surprise. She's found that attraction long-term comes from seeing your partner do something they're really good at, or seeing them in a different light that's like a new experience. So the adventure therapy concept, the doing adventures and mysteries, really is about sustaining the fun, the joy, the passion in your relationship as you move along. And I know it works because it's a huge part of my own
You've been doing it.
I've been doing it.
Yeah, and this isn't just, so when we did a live last week, we had a very obvious theme of don't wait to get this type of therapy and experience until you're on the last string of your relationship. Yeah. If you're out there and you're in a relationship and you just want to improve. So I know lots of couples personally that would just be like, they want to improve. Like, I love my spouse, we're amazing, but we don't always connect. How can we improve that? This is for you as well. This is preventative maintenance, right? Mm-hmm. Preventative maintenance in a relationship. This is finding that other side of you. Because when you were talking about all the experiential stuff, if you have, as a couple, have ever gone and done something together and you laughed hard and you had fun mm-hmm. and you left and you just felt closer, that's really what Melissa offers. You don't have to be at the end of the rope. You don't have. No. She doesn't have to be trying to save your marriage. She can be improving your relationship, making you a better couple, right?
Most definitely. I mean, I've had couples come in here that are like, we like each other and we want to like each other more. We think we're capable of more. And so the experiential stuff is just about highlighting and bringing that out. And then they can go and replicate that at home. Like, okay, like these are things that we experienced in session that wasn't just something we talked about. We did it, and we can go take that same skill or that same activity and do something. If they found that I do a lot of art-based activities, if they find that that's something cool, there's plenty of access to art activities where you can go to a studio and you paint a painting, or you do ceramics, or there's ways you could do some woodworking. There's lots of classes. That's another thing I didn't even think about. There's so many classes through like community centers that you can take with your partner that's new, but it's all about this novelty and really changing things up and finding something that feels playful. Because I love the saying, couples who play together stay together.
And I agree. And there's place in this for everybody. Again, I want to reiterate this. You don't have to be at the end. Therapy is not necessarily about being at the end. It's about improving. It's about being better. If you've ever, on your own, went to any type of motivational seminar or anything, and you spent money and time and energy on yourself, and you walk away from that and you feel better, that is what therapy is. And Melissa offers that as a couple. So you could be getting that weekly where you have breakthroughs, where you find how you can improve the way you have a conversation, how you both, your love languages, all that kind of stuff. And the beauty is, if you're in Colorado, you can do this in the beautiful mountains.
I know.
The beautiful Rocky Mountains.
So true.
And you can be outside doing what you do while you're improving your relationship and communication and trust. Like, the list could go on and on. We could name, if we had to write down, we could name 150 or 200 immediate benefits.
Most definitely.
Immediate, because this is immediate, right?
Yes.
Immediate.
Yes, and I think one of the things you touched on, which I kind of highlighted, is just the value of getting outside. Like, there's more and more research out there about how the brain needs time outside in nature, that it does so well with lowering our cortisol levels and just really reducing that stress that we often carry. If you're really interested in more, Nature Fix is a book that recently comes out that talks a lot about the research that's backing the value of just getting outside. Even interacting with the soil. I actually have training in horticulture therapy, and what we are finding is just connecting with dirt actually elevates your mood, because there's bacteria in the dirt that makes you feel better.
Crazy interesting.
Isn't that fascinating?
You're a wealth of knowledge. I know that.
A lot of knowledge in here,
yeah,
Dan.
And she needs to get it out. So if you found value in today's video, and also if you haven't already, make sure you comment and say hi below. This is scary what Melissa is doing. She's adding value to this network, okay? Thanks for the thumbs up, whoever just gave that. But she's bringing value to this social media platform. You may wonder why she's doing this. That may be popping in the back of your mind. I challenged her. Facebook is a great place. It's a social media where we're a huge community, and let's be honest, there's a lot of junk, right?
Yes.
Not always positive stuff. That's why a lot of people are like, maybe I should take a break from Facebook. Melissa's going to be bringing great relationship advice, great couple advice, great advice that you can start trying on at home to start improving your relationship. And she's also going to be educating you. If you hadn't watched this video and you didn't know what experiential therapy was, then you'd have no clue. But if you follow her, she's going to give you real great tips, tricks on how to improve your relationship, because we said this before, you're not in this because you want to make money.
No.
I've got a hot tip for you, and all therapists around and counselors, you can give a thumbs up to this one. It's not the most lucrative thing you could be doing in the world. It's things people do because they love to help. With that being said, you're not living in a cracker box. You're making a living. But what I like, the analogy I like to use is that this is passion-driven work.
Most
You're
definitely.
helping people. You're in this. You only stay in this if you love to help people. That's
Yes.
the initial first reaction. I love helping people. I'm passionate about helping people. And money's the byproduct of doing that.
Yes.
That's when
most
you know you're in
definitely.
passion work, right? So if you've enjoyed this video, if you liked it, make sure you click the share button. Make sure you get this out to more people who might want to learn what experiential therapy is, and also understand what Melissa does. So your practice is Cambium Counseling, Cambium, right?
Correct.
If you're interested to find more about her, you certainly can. Go to her Facebook page, go to her website, Cambium Counseling.
And there's resources on that.
And there's resources on that as well. Because I've talked with her in depth. She's about couples improving their relationship. And she told me right off the bat, and I'm going to say this for the third time on this live, this is not about coming when things are broken. Therapy is not a last-ditch resort. It is something you can start to do to improve your relationship today.
Yes.
Today, and become a stronger marriage today.
Yes,
Because
most
it matters.
definitely. Because
Yeah.
it matters. And even just if you're feeling really good about your relationship and you're like, well, we're chugging along. One of the things that most couples rarely do, because I know I didn't until I became a counselor even know this was a concept, is really understand what is the mission and vision of this relationship. What are we striving for? What meaningful purpose can we co-create that we could not create on our own? And really understanding the why. Why do you exist as a couple?
Right.
That is so helpful when times are challenging, when you're having breakdowns in communication, because you can always come back to that and be like, yep, that's why we're here. This is why we make the sacrifices we make. This is why we're doing, we invested time and money in this. And counseling can just really serve as helping you really hone in on that, like you would in maybe a personal or professional coach. They're really good at doing that on an individual level. This is about looking at the relationship and really honing in on that, and then getting tools to help you achieve and realize that vision.
Totally. Today's been great.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm such a high fiver. But thanks for everybody's time. Again, if you found today's content valuable, make sure you click the share button. We want to get this message to more people. And if any of you are out there are colleagues and you're like, I love Melissa and I want to see her grow and she does awesome work, make sure you comment below. But more importantly, make sure you click the share button, because this helps her get her message out to more people. And that's one way you can make this as a community, is to actually share this content, like this content and comment on this content. So we will be coming live soon.
Yes.
Again with another topic. So if you want to be notified of the next time we go live, right now you can just tap on either one of our noses. I know it's curious. You want to do it. You did it already. And there's a follow button that pops up, and you can click that follow button, and you'll be notified. If there's a little bell, you can click that as well. And you'll be notified the next time Melissa goes live, so that you can start to comment. Like, this is about community. If there's something you want to know more about, or more importantly, you're about lifting others up as well. So if you're a colleague that wants to come on and maybe sit down and have a conversation
really
about
fun.
whatever it is you're passionate about. I think we talked about a professional cuddler before this.
Oh, yes.
I went in on that. But we'll do some cool stuff. And again, this is about building brands. This is about getting information out to people that need to hear it. And we're not going to break down that stigma around therapy until we all start talking about it and communicating it to people, or else Hollywood, aka movies, is still going to keep it at where it needs to be. But we can change that, right? Soapbox over. So thanks, everybody. Enjoy your day and have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.